For the Tangent on Veritas Catholic Network, I'm Father Sam Kachuba with your daily gospel reflection. Today we're reading from Luke chapter 16, verses 9 through 15. Jesus tells us to be trustworthy in very small things. When we're trustworthy in small things, we learn how to be trustworthy in great things, in the big stuff, in the important stuff. Be trustworthy even in the small things so that you can be trusted with the greater things. But this is also true if we think about virtue. If I'm going to live virtuously, I have to be virtuous in the small things, not just in the big things. You know, it's not that difficult for me not to steal cars. I'm pretty good at that. It's not that difficult for me not to be an axe murderer. I'm pretty good at that. But those smaller areas where I might be dishonest, those smaller places where I might cultivate anger or hatred in my heart, those smaller ways where my words might be cutting and destroying of reputation or even of a person's feelings, those are the small places. I need to be trustworthy in small things. I need to be built up in virtue in the small things so that with the big stuff, it's not really that much of a worry. What are the small things for us that we need to be trustworthy with? What are the small things where we need to grow in being trustworthy? And then notice how this gospel passage ends. Jesus speaks to the Pharisees who loved money, who love power, who love their position and their authority. And he said to them, "You justify yourselves in the sight of others, but God knows your hearts." How often do I try to justify myself before the Lord? How often do I try to justify myself and make it seem like I'm better than others? This is the place where Jesus is asking us to do an examination of conscience and humble ourselves, not to justify ourselves before others, but to humble ourselves in the sight of God, the one who teaches us to be trustworthy in small things and who calls us to be trustworthy in great things.